The contents of this interview, or from Awake and Empowered Expo LLC from Ethan Fox and Flower of Life Center for Human Evolution, is for informational purposes only and does not necessarily reflect the viewpoints held by these organizations or individuals. Always consult with your doctor or health professional before making any changes to your diet, lifestyle, or prescription drug use. Please understand that you assume all responsibility and risk for the use or misuse of this information.
I'm hearing St. Thomas today.
Hello, St. Thomas. Do you have a message for the audience today?
We do, and we are pleased to address this audience, as there are many who have come in order to receive this vibrational message that we wish to send. And we ask you to understand there are many guides in the room who have assembled as well, who are holding hands with all of you at this time in order to alchemize an energy here. And that energy is to bring you to a higher space in an alignment with a planetary ascension plan. That planetary ascension is something that we wish to talk about today, and we want to define where you currently stand as a human race, why those that have come forward are now standing at a very pivotal point in this ascension process, and how you can adjust these energies in order to use them to your highest creative benefit. So first, my friends, we want you to understand that there has been a planetary adjustment, and that planetary adjustment was one within the most recent time frame of the past month. This adjustment period was one that is intended to bring your planet back into alignment with a timeline of ascension that has been skewed. We want to explain why this has happened. Because oftentimes in communications, there has been a message that the current ascension timeline has been skewed. The reason we say this is not that there has been a time adjustment or someone is late to the game, in essence. What we want to explain is that the timeline of adjustment in your ascension process is based upon the rate of speed in which human beings are accepting the new vibration. So the dominant part of your human collective race has yet to accept or ascend into these new energies that will bring this ascension timeline back on track. Why has this been? Well, this has not been the fault of any human beings in particular, we would say. It's not as if human beings are placing a crossed arm upon their chest and saying, I will not go. And that is not the case at all. What is happening here is there is a lower vibrational consciousness, as we have mentioned previously in many past communications. And that consciousness, in effect, is skewing this ascension timeline by masking a human being's ability to accept the new energies. We want to define what this masking is. It comes in the form of energy or vibration. And energy and vibration are a part of every bit of your human existence. They are your makeup. They are your soul's expression. They are essentially universal collective wisdom as a one consciousness. But in your human world, you have been standing in a three-dimensional reality, and that three-dimensional reality has a definition of energy which is separate, a definition of energy which is dualistic. So we're going to break this down into that 3D definition for you of what these energies are and how they have been holding you back, in essence, from accepting these new vibrations and bringing the ascension timeline back into a steady track. This lower vibrational consciousness has accessed your planet through many energetic portals. We're going to use the word portal here in a different way that you may be thinking. Portals are any accesses of energy that are accepting through a human dimensional reality or individual species. So we're using access portals of this lower vibrational consciousness as higher dimensional energies such as Wi-Fi and unnatural electricity, even electronic pulses that are coming to your planet now that are not natural to your environment. We're calling these portals foods and waters, and even the air that you breathe. We're calling these portals sound, and how communication and sound has been skewed and manipulated on your planet to create a barrier or a shield to accepting these new energies. Many people would say that the foods, the waters, the electronics, all of these things have contributed to a lower vibrational consciousness. We want to define what that really means, because in essence, what you're saying when you accept a definition of lower vibrational consciousness is that there's a portion of the planet that has been genetically changed in a way that they are not aware that they can accept these energies and integrate them into their current reality. And that has been the goal. And as you look around you, my friends, you can see where the human consciousness has been stifled in this way. And we would venture to say that many of you know family members, know friends, know acquaintances even, who have been affected in this way through this lower vibrational consciousness. Now, some of you may be sitting in a space where you're saying, well, I have accepted these foods into my body. I have accepted these waters. I use this electronic device and I'm accepting of these energies and I'm ascending into a fourth dimensional reality. What is the difference here? Well, the difference here, my friend, is that you have turned on a DNA genetic strand that allows you to access higher energies. And in that access, your soul has awakened to the idea of the free will choice of accepting these energies. The awakening process in itself is not due to the mind. And that's what we want to stress here. Many say, well, we must clean our water so that the mind is not foggy and not able to access truths. Or we must clean up the food supply so that the mind can function properly. Well, my friends, it was never about the mind. We want you to get the mind, or the definition of the mind, out of this equation, because it's really about your genetic makeup. And when we talk about your genetic makeup as a DNA strand, we are really talking about your spiritual connection. And that's where we're headed in the next part of the message, is the DNA genetic strand and your spiritual connection of who you are. Because many in this time have been brought forward onto this planet or have incarnated into bodies on this planet with an assignment. Some of you may define yourselves as light workers, and we would say, yes, you are. But every light worker has come forward with a specific assignment. One part of that assignment is collective, and the other part of that assignment is unique to your individual structure. The reason for this is that you incarnated into a physical body from a one consciousness, so there had to be a collective decision or a collective assignment. And in essence, you asked to be a physical human being who is separate. And so you brought forward with your own unique soul the joyous expression of creative energy that was unique to who you are. But the collective part is what we want to talk about. Because as a family of light workers, you made a collective decision to come here with a higher genetic DNA strand. So in essence, you were prepared or ready for that strand to be ignited or initiated in this time in order to activate your soul's expression as a collective being. So back to the planetary alignment that we've spoken of earlier. This planetary alignment is one that has been unique to your planet, and there have been many, we would say, in the past time frames in which there's been an igniting of this DNA genetic. But we want you to know that this past planetary alignment in particular, with solar energies and magnetism, was one that was designed to restructure the DNA genetic of light workers in this time, to bring them to a higher vibrational space of holding. And we want to define holding for you, because oftentimes light workers and healers understand the concept of holding space for another. Well, think of yourselves as light workers that are holding the space for those three-dimensional human beings that are resisting this energy and not accepting the free will choice of bringing it into their being. This is where we want to integrate the understanding of the Ascension Timeline. This planetary alignment that triggered this DNA genetic strand in all of you, we would say, and we would define that DNA genetic strand as fifth dimensional in nature, was initiated in order to bring the Ascension Timeline back on track. Meaning that you are now raising higher than you were in your previous energetic state, but also holding the space for those who don't wish to go, to bridge that gap. And you may think, well, how am I to do this, bridge this gap? This sounds as if it would be a lofty goal and a very difficult acceptance of a mission for me to take on. And we would say not at all, because in essence, just by accepting these energies and allowing them to integrate and adjust your DNA genetic strand, you've already taken on a new part of that mission that is a collective mission that has been assigned to you, that you have accepted, that you are one with. So think of it as balancing those who are not choosing to come by raising those on the planet who are the conduits to begin with to a higher space of energy. Now, what does this mean for you as an individual light worker? Many of you are looking to express your soul's gifts in the universal plane in a much larger way, and you know you came here to serve. And we would say there has been a window or a communication portal that has been accessed and opened through this new DNA genetic. And that access portal is one that allows you to connect to your higher self. So in this time, Lightworkers are beginning to connect to their higher self in new ways. And we would say for you, this may be showing up in a variety of different realities. It is designed to allow you to understand that your soul is multidimensional in nature and that it expresses itself through a variety of realities. So think of your higher self as knowing all of those realities as one. And some of you may be receiving messages of this in your sleep. Some of you may be receiving communication directly from your guides and helpers as a connection to your higher self. But we would ask you to all be aware of where energetically you are seeing actions within your physical world that are matching this new energy. And oftentimes these actions or reactions are not ones that may seem good to you. And we know that you place a definition of good and bad on all of your experiences, and we understand why. But let us use an example. Let us say you were part of a family unit or even a collective group of friends, and through this past portal energetic dimensional shift of DNA genetic, you are now finding yourself standing in a reality where there might be disharmony, and that disharmony is causing you to choose an action. Perhaps that action is that you will leave this group, or perhaps that action is there was one or another who has decided to leave the group, or perhaps this action is that you wish to make the group better. Either way, you need to understand that vibrationally, you are the conduit of that group in order to raise it to a new reality. And your higher self knows that you can only connect vibrationally to those in this time that are matching magnetically the vibration that you hold. So if there are friendships falling away, if the group is disassembling, if the group is reassembling, know that it is a function of this new energy. It is a function of your higher self stepping in and allowing you to reconnect to your soul in a way that you have not seen before on this planet. In doing that, You become the space holder. You become the anchor for grounding these energies in for those who are making the free will choice not to go. And some are making this free will choice because it is not easy. Anytime there's a vibrational adjustment in your energy field, you must recognize that all parts of who you are must catch up to speed with that new energy. We often talk about the fact that you have a spiritual, emotional, physical, and mental body. In your 3D reality, those bodies have been quite separate. You have had a separate understanding of each. And now you're standing in a fourth dimensional space where we would say you're very transient in integrating those bodies as one, but yet they are not quite melded together. In the fifth dimensional reality, my friends, those bodies become one. And that is the purpose of this ascension process. And that is why these planets have aligned in such a way, and the solar energies have ignited a change in the poles on your planet in this time. It's because it is connected deeply to your DNA genetic and reigniting a new strand of DNA that is in line with fifth dimensional energy. And this is where you're headed. So your higher self is bringing you to a new fifth dimensional reality right now. That new fifth dimensional energy may feel uncomfortable to you because many of you are used to those friends in that group and you're used to the way it was and how things were feeling and connected. But if you are ever going to get to the part where you express your soul fully as a light worker in this time, you need to understand that everything is energy and vibration. And the energy and vibration that comes to light workers in this time is pointedly important in where they will go to express themselves in the highest way. The people, places, and things that they will attract, the tools that they will attract, and opening that inner compass to guide them in those directions. And that is really what this current time-space reality is all about. So when your higher self is ignited and this new DNA genetic strand is ignited as fifth dimensional, what you may begin to realize is that some of the experiences in your current world that are showing up for you as perhaps bothersome or stressful or fearful are also attached to the multidimensional expression of yourself, meaning past, present, and future. So let's take you back to this definition of this group we spoke of, that there were friends that were connected and some are falling away. Well, every one of those energetic connections has an expression of yourself interwoven in the timeless universe. And your higher self may be showing up for you right now through this transition to show you when, where, why, and how that is happening. It's all about healing past wounds. It's all about resolving karma. And that karma is a part of who you are that you are expressing through the universe in order to heal it. So look to your relationships, look to your family members, look to the struggles that you have going on in your life and understand that you're resolving those not only for your own soul's benefit, but also for the entire universal collective as a whole. And that entire universal collective is expanding because you have chosen to take these new energies on and rise above. And in rising above and accepting these new energies, you knew your vibration was going to shift. And when you knew that vibration was going to shift, you knew the Ascension Timeline was going to start ticking again. And it was going to start moving energy on your planet in a new direction. And that direction would be good. But we need you to also understand that any vibrational shift comes with adjustment. Many of you who have been healers or have been privy to energy healing know that there is an adjustment period in your field. Once an energy healing has been initiated, well, my friends, it is the same planetarily, and it is the same energetically for you as an individual soul expressing yourself through every action and interaction. In essence, you embody the releasing of that karma for that energy to heal. And when that energy is raised and released, there is going to be a shift because your magnetic point of attraction has now changed. We want to talk about magnetic point of attraction for a moment, and we know there are many questions, so we will leave extra time. Your magnetic point of attraction in this current fourth dimensional reality is in a transient state. And with the new energies and the new planetary alignments, you are now manifesting at an extrapolated pace. This is what has been given to you through this shift of DNA genetic. But we want to explain why and where that is coming from. As third dimensional human beings, you have been manifesting through your emotional body. Many of you think that the law of nature is initiated by your thoughts, and I must keep my thoughts in line, and I must create through my thoughts. Well, no, my friends, that is really not the purpose here, and that definition has been somewhat skewed. The thoughts are important, yes, but your vibrational stance comes from your emotional body's alignment, or your emotional body's current vibrational stance. So, if your emotional body has been manifesting from a lower vibrational space of anger, fear, and pain, you can see in your physical world where you have matched that energetically. If your emotional body is resonating in a higher vibration of joy, love, acceptance, and peace, you can see where your outer world is manifesting those actions for you. Now, in the fourth dimension, that emotional body is beginning to integrate with who you are. Keep in mind that you've now accessed a new DNA genetic strand or illuminated a new DNA genetic strand that has opened a communication to your higher self through your guides, teachers, and masters. That integration of your emotional body to your higher self is what's fueling your manifestation process in this time. Because your higher self has knowledge of your Akashic record. Your higher self has knowledge of your soul's compass and plan. And now the emotional body is connected to that. So our best advice to you, my friends, is that when you see your outer world beginning to shift in a direction that is fearful or a direction of change, something that you did not anticipate would happen, but know is falling in line with a new vibration, pay close attention to your energy body of emotion. Because that emotional body, although it is still separate, it is beginning to integrate with your higher self. So if you can keep yourself in alignment with a higher vibration of love and peace through all of these actions and interactions, you are going to begin to manifest in the direction your soul knows it needs to head. And you have higher energies right now to do that. That is the key that we want to give you today to unlocking your soul's creative gifts. It's through your manifestation of energy. It's through your creation of energy. Now, in the fifth dimension, my friends, when that emotional body is fully integrated with the spiritual and the physical and the mental, there's no need to worry about where that emotional body stands in regards to your vibration, because you're whole, you're all of it. You are embodying every energy that is in your highest good. So your free will choice to manifest whatever you desire is yours to allow and step into. We want to leave you with a final thought about manifestation, and we want to discuss the mind, because we know you have been very directed in the teachings of the mind and your thoughts and how your thoughts create. And they do. Your thoughts, the thoughts are creating the emotions. They are not creating the outer reality. right now in the fourth dimensional transient state that you are in, you have the ability to use your energy body of emotion in conjunction with your higher self to manifest to your highest good. But if you allow the mind to create the emotional body's stance, that is where you will fall off the track. So in this integration process, why is the mind involved? Well, it must be. We're given the mind and the mental body as a tool by which to prefer and by which to align with the correct action once the emotional and the spiritual bodies were completely and fully engaged. So remember that, my friends, that your thoughts are very important in this time as well, because we're not discounting the value of your thoughts. We're only putting into perspective the direction that energy is flowing within your dimensional state. And that is that the mind creates the energy behind the emotions. The emotions create, in conjunction now with your higher self, the reality that you wish to manifest.
Can you explain in a little bit more detail lower vibrational energies, and do they have the ability to harm me or come through when I channel? I feel that the fear of these energies are what is blocking me from my clairs.
Yes, and we're pleased to answer this, and we want to go back to the original message about the emotional body, because in essence, if you are attempting to communicate vibrationally with a higher entity or energy, you must also consider that in this time, you are a human being with an emotional body. And that emotional body, in essence, takes the lead vibrationally in every action and interaction that you have. So many who would be in a state of fear about a lower vibrational entity is using their mind to create that fear through the emotional body and the resulting vibration. Keep in mind the equation that every like must attract back to it. It's mirror like. So if you're using the mind in a place of fear and you're sending that vibration through your emotional body into the universe, does it always mean you're going to attract a lower vibrational entity and that lower vibrational entity will take hold of who you are? Well, no, my friends, because there are many more pieces of this puzzle. In essence, there are some of you who have been brought forward with a very expanded energy body and a soul that is evolutionary in time, space, and reality, with a gift that is beyond that vibrational stance. Or even, we would say, protected against that vibrational stance. But in essence, what it boils down to is the intention of your mind to connect the emotional body and what that mind is creating. And when you create with your emotional body, there is an attachment to your auric field. Your auric field is a part of all of it. And we would consider your auric field a very big part of communication in this time, because in essence, it is the announcement to the universe that you wish to communicate with higher beings. So if you are standing in a body with an emotional state of lower vibration, your auric field is going to hold that announcement to the universe. If you are standing in a body with a higher vibrational energy due to your emotional body, your announcement becomes very clear and open and wide. So we would say to worry less about the fear and worry more about the state of your emotions when you are initiating this process, but also fall in line with your highest intention, because in essence, your intention to communicate is everything. We want to also direct you to the crown chakra in this time, because through this process, and we talk about the higher self connecting with the emotional body, there is an opening of the crown chakra. And that is a free will choice that many human beings have to make in this time as well, to engage the opening of that crown chakra in accepting it in a larger way. And we're happy to even do a process on this. And the 9th Dimensional Lemurian Collective steps in order to give you a process for this. And they say greetings. And we are very blessed and pleased to bring forward this message for you. What we ask Lightworkers to know in this time, who are initiating communication with their outer spirit guides or connections multidimensionally, is that you have accessed an open portal through these new dimensional energies and this new alignment. And in essence, those who have accepted these energies are already standing in a body that has been prepared for this type of communication. Now, the crown chakra comes in as a very focal point for you. So we're going to allow you to now place the mind's eye in a view of that crown chakra. And know that when you are going through your process, yes, we would say first pay close attention to that emotional body through your energy field and where it stands vibrationally, but align with your pure intention. Activate each chakra field, but know that the crown portal access in this time for Lightworkers who have ascended to a place where they are beginning to initiate this process is key. And how you can engage that crown chakra, my friends, is beginning to open it wider and seeing it flow. So we want you to imagine this in the mind's eye. We're going to connect you to some rhythmic breathing now. We know that you all know that the pattern of your rhythmic breathing through meditation is your connection to source. So engage that connection to source, engage that rhythmic breathing. Allow yourself to know that you're grounded into the Mother Earth and that you're connecting all of your chakra fields now through that resonant energy. You're going to feel your sacral chakra open wide. You're going to feel that energy come up through all of your fields. When you get to the crown, my friends, we ask you to see a magenta light that is a ball of fire above that crown chakra. And even envision it as they're showing the channel wide open up to the heavens and full of light. But it is important to envision that ball of fire. And they call it a ball of fire and a magenta in color. See that expand for you and practice that. That is your multidimensional window to accessing this communication. And in essence, you've already engaged what you need genetically to do this. So we would say practice this as well. Practice the opening of the crown chakra. Feel the crown chakra open. We equate that crown chakra in this time to you engaging your higher self. And your higher self knows the practice that you need to do in order to take it to a unique standpoint of your own sensory and extrasensory tapping into. Anytime that you are engaging from the higher self and the highest point of the crown chakra, but knowing that you're still grounded through the sacral, you've accessed the beautiful point of both worlds, meaning you're bringing in the living, breathing energy of Mother Earth Gaia and grounding to that through your energy, but also knowing that the multidimensional access is now engaged as well. And balancing that is a beautiful point of connection for any Lightworkers in this time who have been accepting and receiving of the new energies.
Can you go into a little detail about what fear is and is it real?
Yes, and this is St. Thomas of Aquinas, pleased to answer this question. And we would say fear is an energy, and energy most certainly is real. So any emotion that you are pondering is, in essence, a reality. Human beings get caught up in the third dimension in that the reality has to feel, it has to have substance. You have to be able to see it with the eyes or touch it with the hands. And that is not the case at all, my friends. Even the hardest piece of wood or the most solid brick is made up of energy. And that energy holds memory. It holds imprints. It holds programming. It holds all that ever is, was, and could be. You are all of it as well. Every cell on your hand, every bit of your being is that energy. You embody it. You make it up. So if an emotion is a part of who you are, and that emotion is fear, that fear is an energy that you embody. And that most certainly is real. Not real in your definition of three-dimensional real, in that you can feel the weight of that brick. But most certainly, if you are to look around you or think for a moment, you can see how you've created through that energy and how you've created that fear that you speak of as not being real as things that are showing up for you in your physical world that are most certainly real extensions of fear, whether that be a person, a place, or a thing. Whether that be a construct of your mind that is holding you back from ascending into a new reality, or whether that's a reality you've painted for yourself that's keeping you in a lower vibrational pattern of not going to the beautiful places you wish and desire to be. That soul's compass responds to every energy, and that energy is most certainly real.
How do we let go of the fear of stepping into the next level of what our soul is ready to do?
This, my friends, is going to be an individual process. And yes, we've talked about the emotional body and we've talked about the vibrations that can be held in the emotional body. So let's discuss where as an individual soul you can address these emotions. And yes, it would be unique for every human being because in essence, you came here with a soul that is unique, and that soul holds with it the energetic imprints of all of your multidimensional selves. And in essence, you have been programmed in this current incarnation through teachings and through relationships and through all of the energies that we've spoken of in this current communication. So if you're standing in a place of fear, we would ask you to engage first your understanding of your soul as multidimensional. And look at where that fear may hold a common thread for you. This is the key for all light workers in this time. If there is a dominant lower vibrational emotion that you feel is holding you back, we'd ask you to look at all of your current realities, meaning where is this thread of fear showing up for you in a multiple way, in a common way throughout your daily experience. And let's say, for example, that is with a relationship. And perhaps that is a relationship that is not a vibrational match any longer. And you're holding fear of moving forward with releasing that vibrational relationship. Or now you're looking at your career or your soul's expression in the world, and there's fear wrapped around you accepting who you truly are and stepping away from what society has told you you must do and accepting what it is you would joyously create. Perhaps that fear extends now to a family member that has kept you in a place of not opening your throat chakra and speaking your truth. Now understand that where you see these situations as different, they are all just the same. They embody the energy or the emotion of fear. And you've manifested this fear in a variety of ways that is showing up for you in order to conquer it. You see, the universe gives you a divine gift through creation. And oftentimes, as an individual, our soul comes knowing that it has to purge karma, that it has to ascend, that it has to evolve. So through those lower vibrational emotions, we are given an opportunity. We create those opportunities as experiences to heal that dominant emotion. Now, in your soul, perhaps your soul came with that dominant emotion of fear from a past life in which that throat chakra was opened and then not allowed to speak its truth. Or perhaps that relationship was showing the fear to you in an action or a reaction. You brought that into this current incarnation to heal it, not just for yourselves, but for the entire planetary universal collective. Knowing that, look at that thread of fear in each experience and know that it is not as difficult as you are making it. So let's take these three experiences, the relationship, the soul's expression, the career, and the family member. They seem quite different, yes, and they seem quite involved to heal. And you think, well, I must make some actions here that are painful and difficult. And here my finances are involved. And I don't know if I should move to this new position or if I should really allow myself to express my soul's creative gifts. And this family member, I'm not sure if I can ever talk to him. Maybe I just need to separate myself. And he would say, you're making it all too difficult. Fear is an energy the same as love is an energy. Fear is an energy the same as peace is an energy. Fear is an energy as same as joy is an energy. So if you decide, my friends, and make a free will choice in that energy body of emotion to shift your vibration in each of these circumstances, does it mean that you have to take dramatic action and unravel things and make things change? There's nothing that you have to make change in your physical world. You just have to bring love and joy to each experience. So let's look at these experiences again, and let's look at that relationship. And now I choose to vibrate at a stance of love. Perhaps that love involves some open and caring communication. Perhaps that love involves the best and highest resolution for both parties involved. And perhaps no one needs to be hurt here in that higher place of love. And now the career, and we have fear, and I choose to bring joy. What would bring me joy here? Does it mean we have to drop the career and make a drastic action or change? Well, no. We just need to grasp for joy. Because when that joy becomes the dominant emotion, every action and interaction has to change. The same with the family member. Do you have a free will choice in what that family member chooses to create? No. But you have a free will choice in the emotion that you choose to bring to the energy of that relationship. I choose love, and maybe in choosing love, that means I must, for my own benefit and energy, respectfully separate myself. Or I choose love in that I choose to open the throat chakra and address this with this person and say, I love you, but I cannot allow this energy any further. In that vibrational stance, you have already made a shift so that the actions and the reactions must follow. So we would say, if you think of every action and reaction and every experience in your life as energy and the direct result of where you hold that energy, that is how you overcome any state of fear.
Can communication with our guides come in through our own inner voice of our mind and not necessarily a different voice?
Well, of course, my friends, you are tapped into that always. This is universal knowing and universal knowledge. So those who are receiving information, in essence, we would say there are some of you who are already receiving this information. You already are knowing of this information. It just comes to you because of the point of ascension you stand at. But in essence, every human being was designed to tap into universal energy. They are just not knowing that they are doing that. They're not acknowledging or initiating from their point of intention to do that. So your guides, we want to define, are not here to tell you the answers. They're not here to tap into guidance that gives you the direction. You already have that direction. You already have that guidance. You already have that ability to receive the answers. It's only you're falling in line with Source enough to accept and believe it, and you falling in line with Source enough to be intentional in it. So if you are receiving those answers universally, accept that you've fallen in line with Source and you are intentional in that. And many are accessing communication outside of their energetic field through guides, teachers, and masters in order to bridge that gap to universal energy. So in essence, when you're speaking to a universal collective or you're speaking to an angelic guide or teacher or master, all you are doing is bridging the gap between your own energy field and the universal collective knowing. That teacher, guide, or angelic presence is bringing that information through you, to you, or from you to another. And that wisdom is always, always accessible to you when you choose to tap in.
How do you channel a pet?
Well, my friends, energy is energy. Yes. So you have an energy body that is emotional and spiritual and physical, as so does animals, so do plants, so do angelic beings. It's all a bit different in the way it looks in terms of the genetic makeup and in terms of the dimensional reality in which these beings reside. But channeling the consciousness of an animal is equated to channeling the energy of your higher self. It's equated to channeling the energy of an outer being. It's a connection that you initiate from your open heart chakra and your purest intention. Many in this time have initiated or engaged a telepathic communication to animals. This is because we have opened a new access portal multidimensionally and through DNA genetic. We would say many are receiving that information empathically through their higher sensitive points of engagement. And those animals, in essence, have received a shift as well. You are not the only beings on this planet to receive of higher dimensional energy. So know that what you might be receiving in an animal through your own intentional connection of energy, that animal may also be receiving from you.
I'm primarily clairaudient, and I hear words that someone may say later. Some are medical terms. What does this mean?
This communication that you're receiving is from a specific guide, and that guide is connecting you to this knowing through your soul as a healer. So know that that information is coming to you as an expression of where you will be headed with this verbal communication. There are many in this time who are designed as light workers to bring in a new teaching, and that new teaching is of our connection to self-healer. Because in the fifth dimensional energy, where we are headed is the ability to self-heal and the connection to source as self-healers. So you are connected now to a guide and a consciousness that is assisting to bring in this information. So think of it less as a connection to medical information and more of a connection to universal wisdom regarding healing, and how that access portal will open and change for you as you move forward in your own integration. We want to bring this forward as a message for all light workers because we know this has been very specific, but each of you, in essence, has come forward with a soul's imprint in what you wish to express creatively in the world. But as we spoke of previously, you made a collective decision before you incarnated in this body as a light worker, and we would say there are many bands of light workers on this planet that are standing at differing DNA genetics and are stepping within different dimensional realities. But many of you have been brought here as teachers and healers. And in order to do that work, you are all communicating outside of your energy field. Many of you wish to hear that communication as words, and you wish to see confirmation of your spirit guides. But we would say, be patient in this, because in the fifth dimensional energy, there's a full integration of all of this. And what you're receiving now are bits and pieces of that information through your dominant source of connective energy. So all of you are connecting to communication and wisdom. It's just that that communication and wisdom is well suited to the creative gifts of your soul and the assignment that you chose in this physical body.
What is the most important thing to keep in mind when you meditate?
Connection to source, most certainly, because that is the purpose. So many in this time have gravitated to practices of meditation, and oftentimes we're going to bring the mental body into this question because we know that many of you struggle over that mental body, especially at times of meditation. And in essence, we would say not to worry about that mental body coming into play. And even if you have thoughts, it is okay. Oftentimes those thoughts are even coming in as a connection to universal energy when you're fully tapped in. But the ninth Dimensional Lemurian Collective wants to step in and say, we want to remind you that you are a one human consciousness. And that one human consciousness is where you are headed in the fifth dimensional energy. In order to tap into that oneness, there is an engaging of the heart chakra that is important. And you engage that heart chakra every time you sit in meditation. And that comes through a rhythmic pattern of connection. We've talked about rhythmic breathing. We want to define what this rhythm is. It's the rhythm of the universe. It is the rhythm of Mother Earth Gaia, and it is the rhythm of you connected to all of it. So that is why we focus your attention on breathing during meditation times. It is the rhythmic breathing or the rhythmic patterns of sound or the rhythmic patterns of motion that bring you into that state of connection to the universe, which we would which we would define or create for you a definition of as connection to source. What is source? Source is you as the consciousness that is creator. It is you embodying all of the universe and knowing that you are one with it. So at that point, does it matter where your thoughts are headed? No, my friends. It just matters that you focus on that rhythmic connection. Because the more you ascend into that, the thoughts will not matter, but the heart chakra begins to engage. And that's what we're getting at here. And that's where we're bridging into that fifth dimensional reality. That meditation, in terms of its rhythmic connection to source, is going to be the key in the coming energies for you integrating all of these bodies as one. So in essence, when you're connecting to source, that is what you're doing, my friends. You're integrating the emotional, the spiritual, the physical, and even the mental bodies, and bringing them together as one, and then knowing that you are connected to all of it. So to make it simple, my friends, focus on that rhythmic pattern that you choose. Whether that's your rhythmic pattern of breathing, whether that's the rhythmic pattern of sound, or the rhythmic pattern of chant, or the rhythmic pattern of mantra, whatever it is that your soul gravitates to that ascends you into that space of connection with all of it. And when you are connected to all of it, you're connected to none of it. It's a space in between spaces. It's a space outside of the third dimensional reality. It's a space even outside of the fourth dimensional reality. It's ascending into a transient area where you begin to ground into the knowing that you are all of it and that you are creator.
Archangel Metatron, please. Could you tell us what are the best ways to prevent cancer?
Yes. Well, first we would define cancer for you, because cancer in itself is an energy as well, just as privy as you have been to the previous conversation. As emotion is an energy, we would say this cancer that you speak of is an energy. So in essence, anytime you are manifesting something in the physical body, the same way you are manifesting an outer experience, it is connected to a vibration. This vibration is a lower resonant energy. And that lower resonant energy is one that is not natural to the human body. So in order to prevent this disease on your planet, we would say there is a timeline that has been engaged that is very specific to the consciousness around this disease, because we want you to also understand that this disease has created a consciousness in itself, just as we have defined that war is a consciousness and peace is a consciousness. The goal is really for your human reality to assemble back into a oneness, but in your current dimensional reality, these lower vibrations are causing these separate dimensional realities. The consciousness of cancer has been created. And as has been brought forward in many previous questions, the emotion of fear is what has created this consciousness and keeps it in a very dominant position on your planet. The manifestation of Cancer, in essence, is beginning with a human being falling out of line, not only with Source, but with their connection to energy and vibration as Creator. Those that have not accepted fully the new three-dimensional access portals that have been given to bridge to fourth in this current alignment fall outside of that time and space reality, meaning they are not connected to Source. They are not privy of creation through vibration. So previously we spoke about foods and waters that have been portal accesses for lower vibration, toxins and chemicals. Many would say that these toxins and chemicals are creating this disease. We would agree with that, but we would like to throw in another caveat to say, only if you are accepting of fear and accepting of lower vibration can these lower vibrational toxins and chemicals form as a consciousness that is connected to your own. So anyone that has manifested this disease, if they are standing in a place of fear, they have made a free will choice to connect to a consciousness of lower vibration. So our best advice for human beings in this time regarding this disease would be to eliminate the fear surrounding its manifestation. The first access point for that disease to take a strong hold, and we would say this is even connected to the heart chakra in a very dramatic way, is by allowing fear to take that emotional state to its lowest point, where the rest of the emotional body in its physical state and its spiritual state cannot heal. Because healing has to be engaged from a connection to Source. Healing has to be engaged from vibration. So until the human consciousness is ready to accept these new energies and step onto this new timeline of self-healing and vibration and energy as action and energy as disease, this consciousness, or the fear surrounding this consciousness, will continue to grow. The best thing for human beings to do, and we will give a couple of examples. If you are standing within a body that has manifested this cancer, we would say it would be of your best interest to look first at your emotional state and your vibration before engaging any action outside of self. And know that that in itself is going to lead you the path and the direction that you need to go. Toxins in themselves are lower vibration. And you may say, well, on our planet, we have decided that toxins are the cure for this disease. Well, my friends, you can see where the fear has led you. The fear has created a reality or a response to healing that is not in line with the highest intent. So start with your vibration if you have manifested this disease, and pay close attention to your emotion. Any shifts in the emotional body must affect the physical. If you have a family member or a friend or someone who has manifested this disease, and we know many of you are privy to these vibrational and energetic healings, if you are trying to tell them they are wrong or force them to do something that is not within their comfort zone, we would say you're only placing more fear into the equation. Your best course of action would be for you to connect to your highest place of love in every interaction with this person, your highest place of joy in every interaction with this person. Where can you bring joy into this person's life? Where can you reduce the fear without being someone who connects to it through that consciousness? We would even say that there are many communications electronically and otherwise on your planet that are announcing this fear and making it a reality. They bring in media for me. I'm seeing newspapers and radio and television. So we need to understand that every time we talk about this disease, we need to get rid of the fear. Even in the communication of this disease on our planet, we are creating a consciousness of fear around it. And until that consciousness can be disengaged, this disease cannot possibly go away.
Could we speak of the highest consciousness extraterrestrial race? Who are we speaking with?
Greetings, 12th dimensional Pleiadian Ascension beings of light.
Can you explain in a bit more detail what a timeline is?
We can, yes. Many of you are driven to look at an Ascension timeline in your own definitional terms of linear, meaning there is a beginning and there is an ending. Well, my friends, there is no definition of time that is a beginning and an ending. And we only speak of the word time when we are coming through this communication in order to allow you to assimilate a definition of time, which has been brought forward on this planet. We know that human beings in their physical form must have the constructs of time in order to assemble memories and definitions and people and places and things. But where you are headed, my friends, in the fifth dimensional reality, you are privy of all of the expression of your soul's own knowing. The body that you stand in right now holds a soul that is multidimensional in nature, meaning it is past, it is present, it is future. Everything that you are doing in this physical reality is interacting with another. You are here as a nurse, healing, and the healing work you are doing as a nurse in this reality is healing on another vibrational plane through communication. The healing that you're doing through the communication on another vibrational plane is healing as another helper or teacher or worker in new age of reality. It's all connected. The work that you do here is not singular in nature. It's multidimensional. When we speak of an ascension timeline, it's not about a start to finish and getting something done. The ascension timeline is dimensional, meaning there is a DNA genetic strand that you came here to evolve. And by evolving that, your definition of time in essence is forever shifted and changed. Because as you evolve, you are accessing a higher understanding of time. You're accessing more information here. So think of the definition of time as information. Think of the definition of time as universal knowing. Think of the definition of time as dimensional. It has no beginning, it has no end. But it affects everything. When you are having a physical experience in your three-dimensional or fourth-dimensional reality, there is no time associated with that experience. Meaning, what is happening right now is happening everywhere. What happened yesterday is happening right now. I understand that it's difficult for human beings to grasp onto. But we'll give you a fun point of definition of time that you can assimilate, because we know you're headed to a fifth dimensional race and a fifth dimensional plane. And in that fifth dimensional plane, Your soul's multidimensional nature takes the lead, meaning time is not necessary. So, in essence, you can choose whatever experience in whatever timeline you choose or wish to have. For example, in this reality, you may have a soccer game today, and you may have a dinner appointment later in the day, and at the end of the day, you may have chores to do. You see that all as being one day. I went to this game, and then I went to this dinner, and then I did these chores, and now I must go to bed, and I'll wake up, and tomorrow will be a new day. Well, no, my friends, you, in essence, are initiating or engaging a timeline every time you initiate or engage a activity or a process. Anytime you choose to engage through another and an experience, you've created a timeline. They're not connected, they are one. So it's not a day, it's everything. It's not a moment, it is yesterday. In the fifth dimensional reality, your soul has a pure and beautiful understanding of this as integrated beings. So you can choose to be tomorrow, you can choose to be 10 years from now. You can choose to be this present moment. Everything is the same. And you know that all you are doing is creating the reality that you wish to experience. When we talk about the Ascension Timeline, we want to leave you with one more definition because it is important. We call it a timeline because dimensionally it's ascending each density through an expansion. And that expansion is receiving more information. So when this human reality is grounded into the fifth dimensional reality, every being, every collective, every density is going to expand because of that expansion. So if you think of it as a ladder and less of a timeline, you will see what we are meaning. Basically, it is affecting everything. So instead of saying time as a construct of the clock, think of time as the interconnection of the universal energies affecting each other. And you are always embodying that. You are always attracting from that point of understanding. And your soul is always expressing itself through its multidimensional nature, regardless of the constructs of time that have been given to you to assimilate as a third dimensional grounded human being.
So to expand on that answer, let's say that your soul in this physical reality ascends to the fifth dimension. But in another dimensional reality, your soul is experiencing a lifetime where it was engaged in more dark life experience. What happens to that soul? How does it experience that change to the fifth dimension in this reality?
Well, in this reality, every soul is at a different point of ascension. So it would be very unique to that soul's evolutionary process, knowing that we are forging a connection as a oneness and reassembling that. It matters not whether the soul went through a dark period and whether or not the soul has accessed fifth dimensional energies in congruent time to another. You see, every human being has a plan of their own soul. Yet, as a one consciousness, we are working to reassemble you through each other to an ascension timeline where you are working together as a one, so that there aren't others that are left behind. But in essence, human beings can access any dimensional reality that they choose to access right now. It's just the aspect of holding that dimensional connection that is a problem. And this is why there are many on your planet who can bring forward information from different realities, from different dimensional connections and collectives, but they're not able to hold that in a constant state. And that is because as a collective, your human race has to hold that as one. You see, when we think of the definition of time and energy, we understand that human beings are at differing rates. So as light workers who are integrating a fourth and fifth dimensional reality, you must understand that you are raising the bar for others. So light workers may be accessing fifth dimensional knowledge. They may be accessing ninth dimensional knowledge. In doing that, they're allowing those that are still in the third dimension to access energies of their own soul to heal and awaken. It's all interwoven. It's all interwoven. And it matters not where that soul has been or what it has done as much as it matters the integration process of all of that information. That's why we say the higher self is very engaged in transitioning to fifth dimensional energy, because the higher self has that knowing of the soul's expression. The higher self knows the plan of all of your being and where it's headed and where it's going. Your higher soul knows what you agreed to. Your higher self also, as a connection to source and the merging together of all of the energy bodies, is able to hold that vibration. And that is the difference here. Holding the vibration is where your human race is headed. And that is where you're standing right now as a free will choice to accept the new alignment and to accept the new shift and to open yourselves through healing. That is why we have said it's not about healing the planet and working on others. It's about working on yourselves, because in essence, it's about holding the vibration. It's about holding the space. And when we talk about holding the space, we say holding that vibration so that others may raise to it as well. As a soul, you have the free will choice to choose how you ascend and where you ascend. The key, my friends, is being able to integrate the knowing in order to assemble that one human consciousness as a race to hold it all. And that is where the ascension process steps in as far as the definition of time-space reality and how we are accessing higher universal energies as an entire universal collective.
What are starseeds, and is that energy present today?
We would say yes, and often we think it's interesting that human beings pick these definitions because they like to call themselves special, and you are all special in this. There are not some who are more special than others. But we would say there, yes, are some on your planet who have been called, who have been placed with a DNA genetic strand that was fully engaged telepathically and connected to a higher star, and that star is often different and unique for each individual. And many of these individuals are accessing higher energies now, especially through this current planetary alignment, as they were engaged through that process to open a new portal access, as we spoke of earlier. This is not any different from the light workers we spoke of earlier. It's just that these human beings, you call them starseeds, we call them higher beings of light, and in either way, they have a deep-rooted connection to a star that is in particular, that is giving them a direct knowing of their own responsibility and assignment on this planet. It's a telepathic exchange, and it brings a higher vibration through in order to heal the planet. Again, light workers have a very similar aspect of their soul, that is their DNA genetic. These, though, my friends, you need to know, these ones that you call starseeds, they come in with a 12-strand DNA genetic that is already assembled and is holding an access point to a 13th strand DNA, meaning they can access universal energies outside of this planet in a connection to higher source in a way that is grounding into the third dimensional reality and creating a shift. They send it out like an energy. I believe that these people have a huge energy field around them. It just emanates from them in a way that shifts human beings without even speaking. So their energy bodies on this planet as well, their energy field in itself is one that is of higher resonance. So they're healers, but they're also bringing in the new light. They're bringing in the new teachings. They're bringing it in energetically, and they're bringing in telepathically. So it is just a unique form of light work that has a common bond. And that common bond is through the DNA genetic makeup, we would say.
Mary Magdalene, please. Hi, Mary.
Greetings.
Can you please speak about the best way to support the children of today?
Yes. So we would start with this. We have been speaking of the emotional body. Yes. Throughout this message, it has been a common theme that the emotional body is of great importance. And the children today are coming in with a higher knowing. It's a higher resonant energy field. And with that higher energy field comes a very sensitive, empathic nature. That sensitive, empathic nature was meant to heal. So they're here to heal. They're here with a greater understanding of their energetic capability. But yet, they're not accepting of it because they have gone through a process of integration and incarnation that has been one that has been designed that they forget. And when they came here, they were to be retaught. That the teachings upon your planet, they're not falling in line with the new energy. They're not falling in line with this high empathic nature. So the emotional body, my friends, let us remember the messages that have been brought forward about the significance of vibration and energy and even health. So many of these children are facing new diseases today through their emotional body because of their heightened sensitivity and because their lack of embracing that empathy that they show and have, and a lack of understanding by societal institutions and teachings. They are manifesting more illness today. They are manifesting darkness today. Especially, we would say, not the most recent children that are coming onto the planet, because the most recent ones, and we will call them rainbow, and even indigo, we would say, they come in with such a high resonant energy field that oftentimes it's difficult for them to assimilate, yet vibrationally they cannot be placed at a lower rate of disease. But we would say there are ones right now who are between the ages of 12 and 15. These children we want you to pay close attention to. And you would see some darkness around these children. You would see anger. You would see fear. You would see seclusion, and you would see lack of assimilating into society. There is some resistance there. And that resistance is an energy that's coming from their emotional body. And we would say, of course, all children and all age groups are important to support, but in the coming years, we want you to pay close attention, of course, to this group because of the energy and the emotion that they are attached through their energy body and their spiritual body, not being able to assimilate into this society and seeing many things that are not serving them. And they are most affected, we would say, by the toxins and the electronics. Not that they are more sensitive than the others, but it's because their emotional body is in line with that vibration. It is going to take a lot of shift in the direction of freedoms and peace in their interaction with the world in order to bring about a change. So our best advice to you, and we would bring this out beyond just this group of children, we would say all, is to be empathetic to them in this time, because the new teachings, the new institutions cannot be brought into reality until the shift in consciousness is integrated through the fifth dimensional reality. Meaning that your human consciousness needs to open its heart chakra and connect as one in order to hold and ground these energies. So until that point comes, allowing them to express their individuality, allowing them the freedom of choice, allowing them to see the energies that you hold is the key. And especially, we would say, in past communications, we have asked Lightworkers in this time to release the fear and embody the truth of who they are, because it is most important that these children see that. It's not that you have to change the world for them. It's just that you have to change yourselves. And it's just that you have to allow yourselves the freedom and the opportunity to step into your energy fields in a bigger way. Because when you do it, you allow them to see, and you allow them to do the same.
Can you conclude the session today?
Yes. So we have been very pleased as a collective to bring forward these words of wisdom and the most joyous vibration of love, and many have assembled through this connection. We are sending the highest resonant vibration of energy to you and asking you as you go forward throughout your day to always remember that your emotional body is the key to every manifestation in your physical world, and accessing the highest amount of joy and love is not only serving you, but is serving the entire universal collective. And many blessings.